Deacon Max for that very nice story. Always, God always get the dead. You always go back to him. Reminds me of a pastor who visited a church family. And the church family was very faithful to God, and so the father was saying, Pastor, if I have 10 carabaos, buffalo, 10 carabaos I will give one to the Lord. If I have 10 cows, one. Then the piglets started. Oh, you have piglets. How many? 10. Oh, that's piglet, not carabao, not buffalo. So you see, it's always easy to promise, what you do not have, I was talking about a person who would have heard about a person who won in the lottery and who wanted to run for office. And my wife was joking, said, No, if I would, I would not run for office. And I said, that's because you didn't win, Today's message is, the inside message is the 3 points there, marks of a maturing Christian. And on Sunday is the other 4. Okay? So the first message now today is the marks of a maturing Christian: joyful, prayerful, and thankful. And in our Bible study, we will look at the marks of evangelical churches. Especially, we will look at roses. So we will use the other side in our Bible study afterwards. Now, it has always been said that Christians are supposed to be joyful. I have not always believed that Filipinos generally are smiling, people. Until I visited Hong Kong. And I noticed that I would see hardly anybody smiling. Now, it's probably because there's a lot of people anyway. But then I said, wow. And it's true. The Philippines basically is a land of smiles. If you don't believe that, try taking a picture and say, joyful. In fact, we have a song, Laugh at Your Problem. Tawanan mo. Yeah, we like the song, Laugh at Your Problem, And, we laugh. When somebody falls, we laugh. And so, joyful is something that is probably easy. No, I would not quite say that it's because of our Christian spirit in the Philippines. Magellan brought Christianity to the Philippines, and he brought it through the sword, right? And not through the word. And a lot of times, we have that idea that the Filipinos have that. It's the only Christian nation in Asia or in the Far East. And that's quite true. It's far west as well from God sometimes, And I have always joked about being a Christian nation, yet there seems to be some kind of a corruption. Years ago, have you heard of the journalist Max Sullivan? Okay, Max Sullivan, the had this story one time. Long time ago, he said this. That he said that in Thailand, corruption is common. But he said it's under the table. Under the table. At least, patago pa ng konti. Under the table. In Indonesia, it is more rampant. It is around the table, you know. In the Philippines, all over the table, including the table. Because the table is made of naram and it is smuggled. Now, the idea is that in spite of the fact that we have a Christian background, sometimes we have not always been able to live properly. No, a lot of times, I have always said this, that why is it that Filipinos seem to be, not all of them, very, very much hardworking? And why is it that Filipinos seem not to be able to save a lot of money? You know, if you go to Korea, they have learned how to save repolyo, pizza, kimchi. But in the Philippines, saving is not that much of a practice because our climate is basically tropical and it is all year round. So we do not need, we have fresh all the time, And as a result of that many times, the idea of a prayer of give us this day our daily bread. I was reading that particular passage in one translation, and the translation says, give us this day 3 square meals a day. Well, that was interesting. But here, the Christian is asked by Paul to be joyful, rejoice always. And you know what is interesting about this? What Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 12. Rejoice exceedingly glad, even in times of persecution. It's easy to rejoice if you are enjoying blessings. But what if it is now something else? But Jesus said, blessed are you, even in persecution. In Acts 5, they departed rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. In other words, they were so happy because they were being persecuted. They were being attacked because they were Christians. In the Philippines, we always talk about the mango tree. By the way, the banana is a tree, like banana tree. And, which one is being thrown out? The one with the fruit, right? May bunga. So if somebody is throwing something at you, don't be too surprised. It's your fault because you bore fruit. You have the fruit of the Spirit. That's why people will be doing that. So count it a blessing when something is going on with you, because it means that you are bearing the fruit. Rejoice in the Lord. Now you may ask, Pastor, how can you be rejoicing all the time? Because Paul says, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, he says, I say, rejoice. What's the secret of Paul? Why, he told us in Philippians 4, I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound everywhere, and in all things I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. In other words, the secret of continuous, constant joy is contentment. Amen. You know, I was reading last night, and I almost woke up my wife to tell her about what I was reading. About a woman who was 91 years old. And he passed away. In other words, why did he pass away? She stopped breathing, you know. So, passed away, and so they called the doctor. Doctor examined her, and no pulse beat, no, nothing. Dead. So they brought her to the morgue for, I think, embalmment. They also took death certificate so that gets the benefit and stops the pension. After 2 hours, the morgue technician there had another dead brought in, and he noticed that the sack was moving. I like the Filipino, the super was moving. And opened it. And the woman said, "Oh, I'm hungry, I'm cold." 91 years old. I need tea. And she went home. Now, we used to be able to sing, out from the grave, he arose. Out from the morgue. But I don't know what happened there. But the idea is that this person, and this is in Warsaw, Poland, and the idea is such that you can almost always find that this person was joyful, was happy, and she was not complaining. She did not file a case in America. Always a case. Every time, it's a very suitable country. And so there they find that this woman was dead, was alive, and they did not sue the doctor that declared her dead. No. What will keep you from being contented? What's another word for contented? Satisfied. I used to say this. Especially because when I was first pastor, my allowance was 20 pesos a month. 20 pesos a month. Of course, when you have your haircut, it is 50 centavos. But 20 was okay. So many haircuts already. It's a month. Can you imagine that? I was saying if I could only have, at that time, 120 pesos a month is a salary of a school teacher. 120 pesos a month. Then it became 240. Everybody wanted to finish teaching because it's 240. And the salaries of our teachers were 180 pesos a month. When I first taught in the seminary, I was an instructor in the seminary. I was so happy because my salary was 120 pesos per subject. And I taught 4. I was so happy. I felt I was rich. Because the pastors, their salary is only 100 pesos a month. Even now, our pastor, his salary is 2,000 pesos 1 month. I can almost give that salary to him. But happy. Because what will take you happiness is not how much you have, but what you have in your heart. How much you are contented. How much you are satisfied. That will make you joyful. I have a brother who used to brag that he is much, much richer than the school teachers. Because when the kids going to school, their baon is 50 centavos. His kids was only given 1 peso, 2 pesos. When the school teachers were paid about 240, his income from driving is already 600 pesos a month. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, he had many children. He had 14. When the number 14 died as an infant, they asked his wife, what did the infant die of? Anya ti impatay na. Ano kinamatay? Ay, malaris ka no. No problem. I think nobody wept. Number 14 eh. And you can see why when we have a reunion in our barrio, you can see why we have that many. It's soury all over. The church is like that. We can, it's dominated by the family, by the clan, we call it that. But what sometimes makes me very happy is that many of them seem to be very, very happy. I said, you're happy, you're okay, and you don't know if there is El Nino this coming 2015, long dry season, El Nino phenomenon. And you don't know if you will have any harvest. My other niece was so happy because her pension is $100 a month. So happy, $100 a month. Why? Because it will only take that much for her to be contented and to be happy and to feel blessed, joyful, contentment. Secondly, prayerful. Pray without ceasing. Now, how do you pray without ceasing? How do you pray when you are driving and how do you pray without ceasing when you are driving? The answer, of course, with open eyes, You drive with open eyes. Now, but the question here is, the idea without ceasing is pray at all times, on every occasion and every season. In other words, you pray perseveringly. Now, you look at the Bible. Find all kinds of people who pray. You remember Hannah in the Old Testament? Hannah? She prayed for what? A child. She was childless, and that her being childless is supposed to be a curse. Nung una, if you are childless, it's a curse. Now it's probably a blessing, because there you have nothing support, But the idea there is that she prayed and prayed and prayed in such a way that she almost spoke in tongues. Because the Bible, in other words, she prayed in stupor. And the priest said, are you drunk? My friend, deep engrossed in prayer. And in the case of Romans 8, the Spirit intercedes for us with groanings. What's another word for groaning? Sigh. With sighing. I don't know what's sighing in your dialect, but in Ilocano it's asog. It's deep sigh. It's a sigh of anguish, or sometimes a sigh of relief, of course. Here is Jesus praying in groans as well. Nehemiah is interesting because he was praying and he was weeping. What did he hear? from his country that Jerusalem is trodden. The walls are down. And he was weeping. He was weeping. He fasted. He fasted. Last night I texted somebody. Kumusta si Julie Mar? Can she walk? Oh, she can walk now, but I can see she had a stroke recently. And then I said, no pension, oh, no nothing. But she did not change her name to Storimar, but it's still Jorimar, it's still Jorimar, Jolly. The idea there is that this is something that I was praying in my heart. And I asked also my brother, my older brother, he is 74, 76, I think he's 78, older brother. And he had a stroke not too long ago. He was lying down. I bought him a wheelchair, and so that they can bring him to church. You know, when he was strong, he would not come to church. Now that he is, he will come to church because you know he wants to be brought to church. But the idea there is that here is this person, and pray. People prayed when they needed help. Interesting that Nehemiah was praying for the walls to be completed. Walls not of Jericho, but walls around Jerusalem. Remember in Western Wall, where there is that Wailing Wall? Are you there? Nehemiah. There was something else that Esther wanted to pray for. Remember Esther? Esther joined a beauty contest. And she won. She won. And then the problem was that Haman wanted to eliminate all the Jews because he did not want them to be praying. He wanted them, everyone, to bow before him, and they would not bow. You know, in the Old Testament times, basically, bowing is almost always idolatry. No bowing. Just bow to the Lord. Bow down before him, serve and adore him. No bowing to another. Very clear in the Bible, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Today it's not graven, but it's plastic image that we are sort of bowing to. Here is Esther. The nation will be eliminated. The word is annihilated. The entire nation will be annihilated. She needed to pray. She needed to tell the king, but she was not invited. And no invitation means if you appear, you will be killed. And Mordecai said, oh, you think you will be safe? Don't be too sure. The Lord will save us, but probably will not do that to you. Esther said, okay, I'll go and tell the king. But I would like you, she says here, I would like you to gather all the Jews who are present in Shushan and fast for me, neither eat nor drink for 3 days, night or day. My maids, even the Katolong, my maids and I will fast likewise. With the maids fast as well, the dogs will, because nobody will feed them, you know. And so I will go to the king, which is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. They prayed. First, they fasted. They prayed for the survival of a nation, and we still have that even today around all those Arab enemies in Israel. It's interesting that in the Philippines, there's a program known as Jesus for Philippines movement. And they will always say this at the end. God bless the Philippines, God bless Israel. They always say that. And that's because of our theology about the role of Israel. Here is then one mark of a maturing Christian. Joyful, prayerful. The Lord's Prayer is simple prayer. It's not really the Lord's Prayer. It is the disciples' prayer. In fact, the other name of the Lord's Prayer is what? Our Father. In Ilocano, it is, in Ilonggo, it's Amay Namon. Amami. Mami. It's Pater Noster. Our Father. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That's adoration. Hallowed be thy name. Or if it is a song, it's hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Do you really believe in that prayer? Do you believe that God's will be done in your family, in your business, as it is in heaven, so on earth? Then it says there later on, give us this day our daily bread. Just a simple prayer. Daily bread. Pang-araw-araw. Day to day. And here is that simple prayer. Now, what's the advantage of that? Actually, that's true. It is really the daily prayer, your daily need. Because if you ask for more, you might die and you will not enjoy it anyway. So it's really day by day, araw, every day. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Now, by the way, you wonder, even as we have forgiven our debtors. I was listening to a sermon today. There are two ways that we are asked to forgive. And we should forgive. First, we forgive unilaterally. Whether they ask for forgiveness or not, you are forgiven. Second, we forgive relationship forgiveness. You forgive because you have that problem. Forgive. You know what's difficult? When you are not wrong, it's difficult to forgive. Oh, when you think you are right, it's difficult to forgive. But we should, in fairness, we should all learn how to forgive, because forgiveness is a sign. Even when he prayed, Lord, my Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Actually, even if they know what they do, he would still have prayed that. Forgive them. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. What a prayer that we can all pray. Finally, let's look at now the other one. Thankful. Joyful, prayerful, thankful. In everything, give thanks. Now notice it says in everything, not for everything. You cannot thank God for cancer, but in cancer, you may still find something to thank God for. you might find some lessons in the circumstance. I've often debated whether some of my friends were right when they would give a testimony. I thank the Lord because He flunked me in the bar. That's why I'm now in the seminary. No, by the way, he is now in California. But the idea there is, maybe it's not the Lord flunked you. But in spite of your flunking, He still picked you up. And that is why when my Carabao died, I could say, well, thank the Lord, my Carabao was killed by God. So then I became a pastor. Because I was ready to become a farmer. So I bought me a Carabao. 370 pesos. One Carabao. At that time, the salary of a school teacher is 120. So 3 months salary of a school teacher in America, that would be about $15,000. But anyway, Carabao. My Carabao died. And I wept, and I wept. And because of my weeping, I don't know what happened there, but I saw a vision. In my thinking, I saw Jesus Christ calling for me, wanting me to preach. I heard about a man who saw a vision, PC, and, oh, preach Christ. No, you were wrong. It's plant kamote. But the idea there is that I saw. Now, normally, I do not say this because I am supposed to be a professor of theology. I'm not supposed to be a believer of emotional dreams and so on. But I had that call. But my Carabao died. And in that death of my Carabao, God called the number 11 child in the family of the Saudis. You know what? And I'm supposed to be the sickliest. I'm supposed to die early. I'm still alive. Praise the Lord. What is going on? I thank God because in the death of my Carabao, in spite, I have friends who all died of, here is in the Philippines, this is a normal spelling word, word, schistosomiasis. Schistosomiasis. And 3 or 4 of my friends died. You become pregnant first, And of course, my Ilonggo friends say, you're alive because you're Ilocano. Oh, what's that? You eat ampalaya all the time, so it's so bitter. The sister will die. No. But I live. I thank God in spite of what we were doing when we were fishing and we would drink out from any place there. I'm still alive. Thankful. In poverty. In number 11. My sister was so pitiful of my mother that she said, go ahead and throw him away. He is number 11. My mother did not believe that. So I'm still around. But the idea there is that I thank my parents. The joke we have is that we do not practice family planning because if we do, they will not be around. Then if Rizal's parents practice family planning, he will not be around. Because he is number 7. Now, the idea there is that thankful for the circumstances. The Lord allowed you to go through that, and in that circumstance, is it too much to even say this today? We thank God, even if we still do not have a pastor. Of course, I can jokingly say, I thank God because at least I have a place to preach. But the idea there is that there is something in the thanking of God. And you will recall that the idea of gratitude is very much a part of a Christian virtue. Read Psalms, praise God. In everything give thanks. Read. Now, perhaps you can say with the Lord, "Oh, give thanks, for He is good, for His mercy endureth forever." We have added the song that says, "God is so good." God is good all the time. You know, when you can sing that even during funeral services, when you can sing that even if you do not know what's happening in your home, when you can sing that, even in spite of the difficulties, or in spite of losing a job, then you can be like the psalmist, thanking God for His mercy endures forever. And the only way that you can do that is to keep on trusting God. Joyful, prayerful, thankful. I know it's difficult. Remember, that you do not thank God for everything, but you thank God in everything. You find something that you thank God for in something. Today, we can still do the same. Practice joy. Practice prayer. Practice gratitude. Lord God, in the midst of difficulties all over the world, in the midst of thousands dying of Ebola, in the midst of thousands being killed because of some terrorists, in the midst even of difficulties that we have, we just thank you that in all of this, we can thank you because we can find goodness, mercy, your mercy. Now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the communion of the Holy Spirit, and the love of the Father be with us now and forevermore. Amen.